Here's the point. You don't come to a meeting to get ideas at work. You come to a meeting to be with other people who realize that people are your life, and you be with people that dream and hope, who are not filled with all the nonsense you hear with most of the people, 99% of all the ones you run around at home. You come to be, not to find something at work. People come in my house and say, Mr. Jones, I don't believe it's going to work. I say, I know it doesn't work. That's why we hired you. If it worked, I would give it to my brother-in-law who's on welfare, not you. Now, how long do you have to live? How many earned doctors does it take for someone to finally realize God never made nothing to work for us? He made us to prepare our life to do a job and discipline ourselves every day to fight to do the job. And in the process of us making things work, that's how we get made. You know, all I hear is, you think this is going to work? No, and you better shut your mouth. Now, here's another thing I've been learning. I cannot help any of you. You say, well, why did Ron pay you to come here then? I was wondering that myself. Now, I sold Ron. Now, you go sell somebody. You say, what do you mean you can't help me? All right, this is what I mean. After more than 45 years of developing people, I can tell you we had a lot of people. We gave a lot of help, had the wrong attitude shrink. I can show you a lot of people who gave little to no help, had the right attitude grow. Whether you like it or not, I know, you know, real help is not pumped into you by a motivational guru or bribing superior. Real help is drawn out of anyone who commits your life to do something, and somehow, some way, by God's grace, I'll do it if it kills me. Now, you know how I know I can't help you? I'll tell you how I know I can't help you. If I could help anybody, I'd go home right now and help my 6 kids, not you. The only trouble is when I'm home helping them, I seem to be hurting them more than I'm helping them. So I finally figured out the only way I can help my own kids more is learning how to hinder them less. Sure takes a lot of learning to figure out how to help somebody more by hindering them less, doesn't it? Imagine what will happen if the Congress ever figures that out. Which brings me to another subject. Do you know how I can tell when a politician is lying? When their lips are moving. Now, wait a minute. Now, I'm not down on politicians, but you know what makes me different than most Americans? And I am different. I'm one of the few Americans that knows conservatives lie just like liberals lie. But I usually vote for conservatives because I love conservative lies more than liberal lies. But I want to tell you something, my dear friend. Thank God for Newt Gingrich. He said yesterday in USA Today, 34% of the people, more people in America say they would rather him. Well, I don't care what you think, and it doesn't matter to me. Thank God I'm old enough. I think Newt Gingrich is one of the finest things. I've heard him 4 or 5 times at the Word College. I do not know of anybody in my lifetime that's made more sense and has been misread and misaccused. And so, but I tell you, even when I say that to say this, I wouldn't care if they were all Newt Gingrich down in Washington. It wouldn't mean a thing to you, because it doesn't matter who's in Washington. It matters what you're doing in your life. It matters what you're doing with your life, not who's telling you what the rhetoric is, what have you. And another thing, do you know why politicians sleep so good at night? They lie on both sides. You know what my favorite month of the year is? August. You say, what? That's the month I speak to the greatest salespeople in the world. You say, who's that? School teachers. Oh, God. Thank you, Lord, for school teachers. If I had my life all over again, I think I'd be a school teacher. You say, well, you wouldn't touch as many people. Don't give me that nonsense. You don't touch people. God touches people. A school teacher that touches one life will touch more than the greatest motivator in the world, if you ever think about it. Oh, teachers. Now, I love to tell teachers, they got the number one problem. And what is it? Language. And if the teachers don't lick it, we're all sunk. Language. You see, if you understand language, you understand politics. You don't understand language, you'll never understand politics. You see, poly means many, and ticks means blood suckers. Language, that puts it together. That's right. Yeah, this is all in the Greek. Now, I know Ron's over there. Ron's mad at me because he knows I'm talking a little negative. And I'm sorry, Ron, I can't help it. I was born this way. Now, here's the point. Some of you are not like some of these great motivators. Some of you are like me. Some of you get down now and then. Some of you get discouraged now and then. Yes, you do. Some of you get a little cynical now and then. I'm sorry to admit it, but people say to me, you must be positive. You must be positive, 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 positive. And if people aren't positive, get away from them. Well, I have to kill myself. I'm the problem. It isn't them, I'm it. And you say, well, I'm always positive. Don't give me that. Say how positive you are. Suppose you're in the office and your wife calls and says, honey, the bank said you to call them right away. What's the first thing you think? Woo, too much money again. Even Ron Price doesn't think that. Now, friend, here's the point. Don't let these people get you down and make you think you're second class. It's normal to get a little down. When you're out there taking rejection, it's normal to get a little negative. You show me somebody who can work with people all day and keep smiling, and I'll show you an idiot. But, now see, you got to level with people. Let them know there's not something wrong with you. Now, but you do it. Now, did you notice when I start talking about politics, how negative I get? But did you notice how I did it? With fun and laughter. Don't you shade the truth. You go and level, do you level just like it is as you see it, but make sure you do it with fun and laughter. Why? Because your job is building on it like it is, not wishing it like it's never going to be. And it's what you do with it, not what it is. Oh my, oh my. We busing little children to my farm. Last Saturday we had 29 brought in and bused little children, no families. And my heart aches when we bring them each year. We have a little golf course for them, and we have a park and a pool, and we have a Christmas room, and we give them candy and Bibles and presents and teddy bears. This is the 5th year for some of these kids. And you know what I think? And I look at the dear little angels. About a month ago I was in England, and I look at them. You know what? Those dear little angels have more hope than Princess Diana and Prince Charles. They got everything, they got nothing. These little inner city angels don't have nothing. But I remember the day when my life was exactly like theirs. And thank God I didn't have anyone to pity me. Thank God somehow His grace taught me it isn't who does something to you. It's what you let God do something with your life to give it away, to live it out. The greatest training program in all the world is not in one cassette, and thank God for cassettes. Everything Bob said is true. Everything, thank God for the books. The greatest training program in the world is watching a mother raise a child. Where would you be had your mother had to hear a motivational cassette to get you off to bed? You'd have died in bed. My friend, we're not here to be pepped up. We're here to learn to laugh and pep them up. Because it's only you pep them up can you grow up. If you're looking for somebody to pep you up, you're signing your own death warrant now. All right, there's one more thing I've been learning. I've got my doubts about a man who says he puts his family ahead of his work. And I got my doubts about a man who says he puts his work ahead of his family. And I got my doubts about a man who says he puts his God ahead of his work or family. You know why? Over the years, I watch people talk about what they put first. They usually don't put anything first but themselves, and use what they say they put first as an excuse to get out doing what they should have done. I've been learning you cannot be better with your work the right way without being better with your family. You can't be better with the family the right way without being better with the work. You can't be better with God without being better with every area of your life. You don't put anything first, my dear friend. You say, I put God first. Who are you to put God anywhere? He is first, you lunkhead. What's wrong with you? Don't talk so stupid. And you say, well, I give my all to God. Well, he didn't get much then either. Now, don't talk so stupid. Then you hear somebody, I give him my life. You don't give God your life. He gave your life before you were born. They talk about abortion. You're not aborted after you're born. You know, when you were born in the mind of God before the foundation of the world was laid. And it doesn't matter when you go out of here. It only matters you have a life that can never be snapped. Brother. Well, now this is important to me, because Gloria used to give me a hard time. We never had much, and I was between church work and the kids and young people's and Gideon's and youth work and then my own work, and I was young and green and insecure and nothing. I just was going 90 hours a week, it seemed, and she'd always say to me, Charles, you're always putting everything ahead of us. I never did. I never put my work ahead of my family one day in my life. I never put my work ahead of my family 1 minute. But I can tell you this, I never put my family ahead of my work for 1 minute either. You know why? Because my family is a part of my work. You say, well, my wife loves me for the way I am. You try going home without any money for a while. You'll find out how much she loves you. Now, I know you can't buy love, but I'm telling you, after all these years of raising a family, some of our worst heartaches was over money. Now, I know it shouldn't have been, but it is. So don't give me no cliches. We're here talking about life. That's the way you build an organization. Life, real life. And you women, you're all alone. I got to speak for the men. They won't speak up. You've beat them down. My wife beat me down too, but I'm not home now. I can talk the way I want to talk. Now, here's the point. Now, do you have children? Do you have children? Remember how it was? Remember how it was before there were any children? Remember how it was? She couldn't wait for you to get home at night. Woo. What happened? The children came. What happened? She forgot you lived there. Did you suck your thumb? Did you suck your thumb and say, oh, my wife loves the children more than she loves me? No, you're a real man. You knew she didn't love the children more than you. You knew those children needed her time, and you had to keep your mouth shut for 18 years till she discovered you lived there again. Yes, this is all true. Yes, it's all true. My friend, you don't put God first. You don't put your family first. You don't put your work first. There'll come a time in your life you'll go through some struggles in your work that you'll need your family more than anything in the world. There'll come times in your life you'll go through some heartaches with your grandchildren or your children. You'll need your work more than anything in the world. There'll come times in your life when you have troubles in the marriage or your work. You'll need God more than anything in the world. Now somebody says to me, well, I don't believe in God. Well, why not? Well, too many hypocrites down there at the church. Come on down. One more won't hurt. Now listen. Hey. I joined the church before I ever became a Christian. Why? Because I know they might be right, and I wanted my children to have a choice to know what they believe, because I know they know what I believe, and I may be wrong. Thank God I got enough sense in my ignorance to know I might be wrong. When I hear of a man says you won't take his children to church because he's not a believer, you ought to love your children enough to give them a chance. Now you say, well, where do you go to church? I'll never tell you. You say, why not? Because you might join it and make it worse. We're trying to get rid of some of you now. Join Ron Price's church. Give us a break. You see, friend, you say, hey, Charlie, you're violating all the rules. You say, don't you know you can't talk about politics or religion? My dear friend, what else is there to talk about? But when I talk about God, when I talk about my church, I don't talk about where I'm a member. That isn't the real church. The real church is not the church where I'm a member. The real church is the church within the church you can't join. The real church you got to be born into. And you say, well, I was raised in the church. You can be raised in a garage, but you're not going to be in an automobile. Now, see. Now, you don't need to go to seminary to know what Nicodemus said. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the spirit is spirit. You don't need anything at all to figure that out. Now, well, you see, now we're identifying already, see. Now, what have we done? Well, we've laughed, we've thought, and I've given you some glimpses at my heartaches, and I haven't done a lot right. And all of a sudden, you're seeing we have a lot in common. Oh, my friend, I guess I'm one of the richest, blessed guys that ever lived, because I have 1,000 of my heroes in books, and every one of them, when I read, I see me. Oh, I know I'm not going to be like my heroes, but I can see me. They're so different, and yet we're so much alike. I've been selling now for over 60 years. You know, well, you don't look that old. Well, I am. I started selling Liberty magazines in 1933 to work my way through kindergarten. Which gives me now 66 years I've been selling. And the greatest thing I've been learning in 66 years is young people hurt like old people, rich people hurt like poor people, and well people hurt like sick people. Oh, friends. You know, when my success came, I think I was wiped out totally twice. I never let anybody know. For years, I slept on the floors of airports and shaved in Caesar's Palace men's room when I went on stage. Nobody ever knew. It didn't matter. And so when things came back, it didn't matter to me. Oh, I wish I'd have had more to give and more for my family, and the kids wouldn't have had to struggle so much to earn their way and work part-time in school, in college. But it doesn't matter. You see, the things you're learning is all that matters, and things around you in your hand don't have much to do with that. And you'll never figure it out. You'll always get to see that that gracious uncertainty, and even now I can't explain it the way I want to, but yet I'm grateful that I somehow know, and you know in your heart what I'm trying to say that no words can say. And my being able to say that says it even better than had I been able to explain it the way I wish I could. Isn't that amazing? And see, I'm saying that for you too, because see, you're exactly like me. But it'll take a lot of broken hearts. It'll take a lot of breaking away that out facade that we all have for you to be what you were meant to be. See, we have so much individuality, all elbows, me, my, and I. But as you keep on, don't keep on keeping on. Don't let it make you give up. You'll hear somebody say, you'll never do that to me again. They'll never that happen to me again. You're done. Oh, I say that all the time, but I know the minute I say it, I laugh. All right, God, do whatever you want to do. It's being open, because only as you get that broken shell is that real person got to come out. That relates and identifies and feels, and things happen you can't explain. Now, what does it take to be successful? Only two things. Number one, here it comes. Ready? Commitment. Commitment. That word is so sacred we shouldn't even say it. Mm-hmm. 1950, Mutual of New York, the oldest insurance company in America, Mutual of New York. I was one of their agents. I was the most valuable associate my first year. You were pretty good, huh? Very bad. Well, how did they make you the man of the year? Everybody else had quit. You think I'm proud of that? No, I'm not proud of it. But I didn't quit. All the guys who should have stayed, they quit. I should have quit, I stayed. 10 years later, I'm running a $100 million organization. Nothing went right. We never had anything happen the way it should have happened. But I had one thing going for me that can make anybody's life wonderful, whether it's marriage or work or God or church. 7 years I never missed making a sale. You say, were that good or not so good? 1949, when I started selling insurance, I made a rule I'd sell an insurance policy every week or buy one. You're looking at the first salesman who ever succeeded, haven't bought more than he sold. I bought 22 policies. You say, my wife wouldn't let me do that. You think my wife knew it? Are you nuts? Every time I turn around, some man comes up to me. Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones. Yes, sir. You know why I'm not a success? Why? I got a miserable wife. You got a miserable wife? You don't know how lucky you are. The greatest asset a man can have is a miserable wife. Had my wife been the least bit sympathetic, I'd have gone home the first night. I said, Gloria, sweetheart, honey, they're mean to me out there. She said, you sweet little baby boy. Stay home with your mommy tonight. I'll take care of you, dearest Charlie, baby boy. I never dared complain once. Had I ever complained my wife said, you idiot, I told you not to do that in the first place. Why don't you get a real job like mother men? Be home at night watching television. I'm telling you, the greatest asset a man can have is a miserable wife. You say, what if I've got a good one? Don't worry, you can make it in spite of her. Now what's the point? You got a good wife, good. You got a bad wife, good. You got a good husband, good. You got a bad husband, good. Whatever you got, good. You better thank God you didn't get what you deserved. But don't that make sense? That makes sense to me. You young women not married, I'll tell you how to find the right man. This will make you some money. Yeah, here's the way you find the right man, young lady. Quit looking. Find it. Get someone with pants on and pray. All the bums are alike. Imagine that. Looking for the right man. I tell young men, you ask God not to give you what you deserve, because if a man gets what he deserves, it'd be better he stays single. Now, commitment. Oh, God. Today we have one business making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And every part of it, 3 different dimensions of it, was a total mistake. But we just wouldn't give up. And you know what? Everybody I talked to, the real achievers, it wasn't doing the right thing. It was doing something and making it right. You say, what if it takes 20, 30? So it takes 20 or 30 years. So it takes, I know it doesn't matter how long it takes. You want to be like the other people? Look around you. You don't need a training course. Look around you. Commitment. The only other thing it takes to have a successful life is, number 1, commitment. Number 2, meaningful goals. Meaningful goals, meaningful goals. Did you notice I didn't say goals? Now, you know why I don't say goals? Because I know Tommy Hopkins. I know Zig. I know Brian Tracy. I know Ken Blanchard. I know Dennis. I know all of them. And you know why I don't talk about goals? Because they do such a great job on goals. I could never be as good as they are. So, you do like me. Find a little niche. There's so many things nobody does any of. You find a little, you do it. So I talk about meaningful goals. You say, what's the difference between meaningful goals? Oh, big difference. Now, goals you got to set. You want to set it. You need them. Goals are what we set to get all those things there that God put for somebody to get. You ought to get your share. Now, meaningful goals are all the things you decide to do that you don't get nothing. It gets a lot out of you. There's a big difference between you getting a lot out of the world or the world getting a lot out of you. See, that's why meaningful, all the people you deal with, whether you bring them into business or not, whether they're